What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? What is good, guys? Where have I been? Bro, it's the weekend, man. We don't trade weekends. Although volatility does take its movement during the weekends. I gotta say, yes, it does move. But, you know, we want to improve the chances of the trade playing out in our favor, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening? Let's start this week. Let's get the ranges sorted out. Summit, what's happening, bro? Pancho, what is good? Angel, what is happening? Give Malaysia a shout out. There you go. Malaysia in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Easter to all you beautiful people that are passing through to the live. What's good, Argentina? Phantom Scalper, what is happening? Run that beat back, yeah? You like that beat? No, Neville, what's happening? Lebanon's in the place, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Easter to you, Brian. What's good? I hope you're all enjoying yourselves, spending time with the family, because that's what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. You got to spend time with the family. I know trading, crypto kind of brings you into the scene and you just want to just forget everything and just dive into the charts. But ladies and gentlemen, we must have that disconnection. You've got to disconnect from the charts to be able to absorb what it is you have sat through so that you can then come back to the charts with a fresh mind, ready to make sense of Mr. Market Maker madness. More rapping today? Unfortunately, no. It's time to talk about the charts. So I won't be spitting no fire to any of you guys today. Until I reveal my face, I shouldn't be getting the weekends off. You know what, Kevin? I agree with you. But of course, you know, the reveal is coming. It will be happening very soon. Texas in the house. What's happening, Texas? South Africa, what is good? Brazil, man. People are coming in from all over the world, man. I am very happy, Excellence. I am happy. I have to be happy, bro. You know, we're doing what we love. We're talking charts. And this is what we're going to be doing this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Going to put out a few concepts that are probably going to trigger your minds in some way, ladies and gentlemen, but we're just going to have a brief overview of what to expect for the start of this week. And the topic for tonight is to address if Monday will be a false move, ladies and gentlemen. So the great Cornholio, you're a market maker and you'll dump it in 4 hours. Wonderful. That's what I want to hear. I want you guys to be able to believe that that will be the case. Okay, so mad love and respect to everyone passing through to the live tonight. I hope you are all enjoying your Easter holiday weekends and what have you. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to have a conversation, and that conversation is going to be about whether is Monday going to be a false move. All right, so if you haven't done so already and you are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe, because next week, or the start of this week coming, I'll be going live Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. GMT UK time and 10 p.m. GMT UK time, so that I can keep you guys updated. All right, so let's roll with the flavor, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a conversation. So here we are. It's the daily time frame, guys. Now, when we look at the chart itself, we say to ourselves, okay, what is Bitcoin going to do next? What do I need to do? Well, firstly, what I need you to do is I need you to completely eliminate any conception or any opinion that anyone has about Bitcoin. That includes mine as well. What I'm here to do is to help you give yourself a structure in the way you actually approach the charts. Now, there is no foolproof way of approaching the charts, ladies and gentlemen. That is true, okay? You're dealing with uncertainty. And the more you familiarize yourself with this concept, it's going to be much easier for you to make decisions systematically and objectively. It's not about whether you feel good about Bitcoin. It's not about what anyone else says about Bitcoin. Go on to crypto, Twitter, whatever sources that you may use, okay? People will have a way of being, how can I put it to you? Someone that is biased to Bitcoin to the upside, you'll only anticipate them to be talking positively about Bitcoin. Someone that has got a bias to Bitcoin being cheaper, they're only going to be looking for things to find an excuse to believe Bitcoin is going to be cheaper. You don't want that, because you can't determine Bitcoin's value based on what people are paying for it now. That's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is 40,269 and it's going up and down. That's the value. So that's your information. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to break down the levels, look at what Bitcoin could potentially do from now until tomorrow. Now, we have been down a pool of liquidity, ladies and gentlemen, because we had the bank holiday on the Friday. So the UK didn't trade it. And if knowledge serves me correctly, the equities market didn't trade in the US. Okay? So we are kind of down a little bit in liquidity. So we will have a full week of trading this week, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to prepare ourselves for what chaos Mr. Market Maker is going to roll with. In front of you right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the daily time frame. And tomorrow, I will be doing a video for the holders of the channel. So I'll be putting out a video just to update the holders, just to let them know what to expect on the monthly, the weekly, and the daily time frame. But what I like to do at the start of each week is to understand what has Bitcoin been up to over these past few days. Okay, so let's just have a look. As it stands right now, ladies and gentlemen, when you zoom out of the chart, you're going to say to yourself, can Bitcoin hold this area? Will Bitcoin go down lower? What are people saying about Bitcoin to make people believe that it can go down lower, which ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, people are going to put their opinion in charts in forms of trades. And if Mr. Market Maker has a lot of liquidity coming into the exchanges that he has to fulfill, then he will be obliged to fulfill those requirements. Okay? And this is what we need to understand. So the first zone that we really need to be aware of in terms of the charts itself is this area right here. Now, this area seems to be a little bit of a problem for us, ladies and gentlemen, because we understand that Bitcoin and any other asset likes to return back to the wick. What is the wick, you say? Now, there are many interpretations of the wick, ladies and gentlemen. Many people say that it's where price had rejected previously and people weren't interested in that zone. Of course they were interested, because that's why someone went short in that area. Someone went short in that area. Thousands and thousands of dollars went short in that area, which is why Mr. Market Maker provided the liquidity to the downside to give traders the reason to believe it was going to go lower, and he reversed his price back up because he got his longs filled at lower prices. Don't shoot the messenger. This is the business model. You can't buy if no one sells. I'll say it again. You can't sell when no one buys. The same thing happens all the time. There has to be an equilibrium in the charts. Okay? Billy from Philly, what's happening, my friend? You're accumulating a truckload of Easter eggs. Happy days. Mad love and respect to all you people passing through to tonight's live, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I see you have actually started to hit that poll up there. 38% of you say you're a pattern watcher. Mad love and respect to you guys. 15% of you say you are related to Steve. That's good. And 10% of you don't know who Steve is. And will Monday be a false move? Well, 38% of you believe that it will be a false move. I don't know if I wrote that correctly, to be fair. No, I got that wrong. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll with this flavor. So here we go. This is the area here that we need to be mindful of. All right. Now, price, whenever you see a vector candle in the chart, guys, all right, we are somewhat compelled to the idea that it's going to come back to it, because that's what the hybrid system represents. It always represents the idea that price is going to come back to the vector candles, which is what you see as these green and red vector zones in the chart. Okay. Now, more importantly, what you've got to understand is this. Let's just look at the monthly time frame. Yes, there is a few vector candles down here, and I'm going to be talking about this more tomorrow. Are they going to be taken? Well, we don't need to worry about that now. Okay? Bitcoin right now seems to be doing pretty well holding in this range. How long it decides to hold for is a different story. Okay? What we need to understand is this. If you see these wicks right here, will Bitcoin actually initiate this sort of behavior? Because me personally, I would prefer Bitcoin to wick the range to try and come back up. But remember, anything can happen in a single candle. Anything can happen in a single day. Something could trigger, which could then lead Bitcoin to move higher or lower. All right. The idea is, if that actually happens, will it be a surprise to you? That's the question. Okay. So let's roll on to the 1 hour time frame to understand where we are right now. Okay. Now that we know what level down below could be a surprise for us. Okay. We need to understand how likely is Bitcoin going to break that point. Okay. So let's just look at what's been happening over the past few hours, because this is what I like to do. I don't really want to focus too much on what's happened beforehand. I need to understand what is going on now because it's going to justify what had happened previously. Okay, so these are the areas that we need to be focused on in this zone. We've got this stopping volume candle by Bitcoin, which initiated a move to the downside and came back and recovered the previous green vector zone right here. Now, if you look, the first time it came back into this area, they came into the wick and then they moved away from it. Price then came all the way back down into the wick right here, as you can see from this point right here, all the way over here, which was the last point in the chart which they had accumulated orders from, or should I say interest in traders to go short from, okay? Now, we're trying to determine if Bitcoin is actually going to come back into this range. Now, this is what I want to try and establish to you guys. Given that Bitcoin is trading sideways, speculation is saying that Bitcoin is probably due to go lower. If we are going to mark off the ranges in the chart to believe that it can go lower, ladies and gentlemen, we need to appreciate that it may not be a surprise to us. You see, on the 1 hour time frame, price is flat at the 50 EMA, so there's no volatility in the chart, or should I say there's no momentum, okay? So we shouldn't really be considering any trades until the first move starts to happen. If they keep wicking price to the downside, okay, what we're looking for is the following. If price does break down lower and recover this wick, we want to see the recovery back up, reject the psychological low. Okay? Now, the psychological low sits at the 40,093. So get that written down. I'll be updating the community post very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Once I finish this live, I'll give you the psychological levels. But at 40,093, this is where Bitcoin, if it does break below it, if it tries to come back up into it, it may see a little bit of a resistance on this point. Okay, so just be mindful of it because this is what you're looking for. Always, always the retrace. Okay, the retrace is your savior. Why? Because it proves the validity of the move in the first place. If you see Bitcoin move up, retrace back down, what you want to see is vector candles coming in here where they're trapping the retail traders to go lower, and then you want vector candles to appear on the way out so that they can absorb that liquidity for the retail traders who went short from here and then shift price out of the range to follow in with the narrative of moving up in the first place. Okay, likewise, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the trade for a short to the downside, you want to see exactly the same thing. Okay, you want to see price come down and then show the proof of the move and then show the continuation lower, which if we look at the chart right now for the shorter term, if Bitcoin does break down below the psychological low, you're waiting for a retrace back into it. If it breaks below the psychological low, but it doesn't really break it with conviction, sit tight. Because it means that they've just drifted price below that range. There hasn't been a convicted move behind it. You want to see an aggressive move down, and then once they stabilize to try and come back up into the range, after they've just absorbed all of that liquidity to the downside, you'll then want to see the retrace to show the proof, which would then show that the 50 EMA will start to turn like so. The 5 and 13 EMA will be trading above price, and price would, of course, be below it, trading in its normal fashion. Okay? So that's with Bitcoin to the downside. Now, what we do need to be aware of, ladies and gentlemen, is what's been going on here. You see, when you see Bitcoin spike up, as you can see up here, Bitcoin took this area and recovered most of the red vector candle in this range. Then it started to maintain the same behavior in this area here. This is a bit of a cause for concern, ladies and gentlemen, because the behavior is every time they spike price up, it's to grab the guys who were previously in the belief price is going to go up from this point, bring it back down and hit their liquidations. Same thing here and same thing right here as well. All right. Notice how they're doing all of this below the key 40,500 zone. Okay, so mark off the 40,500 as a half number, whole and half numbers right there. So we're going to mark that off. And we need to ask ourselves, are they building longs or are they building shorts? Okay, so the question is, how many of you of the belief that they're building longs? Okay, type 1. How many of you in the live right now believe that they are building longs? Type 1. I want to see where you guys are at. Please tell me where you guys are at right now. Type 1 if you think Bitcoin is now currently preparing to go long, based on the idea of the hybrid system. I'd love to know your thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen. Where are you at with that, ladies and gentlemen? I know there's a bit of a delay. 1, jolly. So, the consensus says most of you believe, okay, we've got a few 2s right now. Few twos and ones. Okay, it seems to be a distribution. Here we go. Ones, twos. You see my point? Yeah? You see what I'm saying? Everyone's idea of where they believe price is going to go, okay? It's variable. Yeah? Remember this. When you see these charts right here, guys, can only be charts if people commit liquidity. That's the truth. They will only be candlesticks if the trader is coming and putting his belief that he thinks price is going to go up or down. Whether it's institutional traders, retail traders, governments, banks, whatever. All right? This is where you know where people are. Right now, Bitcoin's trading sideways. Trying to make sense of sideways behavior, like, for example, for the guys who will be trading breakout ranges, you've got to be extremely careful with range trading. Okay, because the range trading principle says that if price is in this boxed off area and it's bouncing up and down like this, you're naturally going to assume that if it breaks out to the upside, it's going to continue, or if it breaks to the downside, it's going to continue. That may not be the case, because what usually happens with range trades is you see them breaking out like this, they stop to the high, they trigger all the orders in this range right here, then they bring it all the way back down again, trigger all the orders to the downside, and then they bring it back into the range again, and they play the game non-stop up and down till they decide to move up in the direction that they favor. Okay, so what is it that you're looking for? This is the structure you're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you see a range happen, the range has to break from a notable point in the chart. So in this instance, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up the template, the structure for you, so you have it in your minds, and then I'll put it to the chart. Let's assume that this is the psychological high and this is the psychological low. You're looking for Bitcoin to break out of the psychological high with aggression. You want it to come back into the range. Allow freedom for it to come back below it, but you are waiting for them to come back up again with aggression to shift out of the range, because it will be designed to trap the traders. Likewise, when it comes to trading it to the downside for the psychological low, you are waiting for Bitcoin to do this, break down lower, come back into the range, and continue out again. That's what you're waiting for. How and what is going to happen first? Well, that's the million-dollar question, ladies and gentlemen. The million-dollar question is, which zone is it going to break? You see, I think we're past the idea now that when someone talks about Bitcoin, or someone says that Bitcoin's going to be used in whatever services, it's not reacting to the market as much as it used to. That's how you know there's a lot of money in cryptocurrency right now. And there are a lot of players behind the game of cryptocurrency, and they need to be able to control the market in such a way that a random news announcement is not going to throw everyone off price. Let's jump back 7-8 months ago when Elon announced something about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin flew. It was Tesla. It flew Bitcoin up to the upside. Well, listen, just because Tesla buys Bitcoin, it's a nice endorsement. But the transaction, well, come on, man. People are buying and selling Bitcoin like that every single day. The whales, for example, are buying and selling Bitcoin in those amounts. Why is the price not moving? Because there's more people doing it now. Okay? So don't be fazed by someone saying, oh, so-and-so is buying crypto, or so-and-so is selling his crypto. Yeah? Don't be fazed by it, ladies and gentlemen. Going back into this psychological range, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have noticed that I say, ladies and gentlemen, so many times in this stream? I have to address you guys because I don't know you all by your names, but I can say your names like, I can say your names. I mean, look, my guy, Billy Bong Thornton, I could say that over and over again, but you know how it is. Bitcoin is going down like a clown, Charlie Brown. That's funny. Anyways, the psychological high and psychological low. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. Because although Bitcoin looks like it could break down lower, it could also break up higher. But here are the subtle clues. When you've got the psychological high and the psychological low and price is trading like this, if you were to divide the psychological high and low, you would favor that it's trading more towards the psychological low. So that's where you're going to have a question. You're going to say, well, if they are doing more of this and not following through with it, are they then preparing to reverse it back up? Because if they want to make traders believe price is going to go lower, we need to look lower and say, well, what can we assume is happening at lower prices? Well, firstly, we've got this wick right here. Secondly, we've got this zone right here. Now, we need to justify what's happening in this area, ladies and gentlemen, which will take you over to the high block chart itself. Now, it's a little bit confusing now, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It appears that we seem to have an even distribution of longs and shorts in the chart. Look, these are the assumed longs and short liquidation points. 615 shorts and 535 longs in the chart right now. So what's going to happen? There's not more of one. Distinctively, there isn't more of one than there is of the other. So we're now going to ask ourselves the question, well, where can it go? Which leads me on to the understanding of the topic of tonight's discussion is, will Monday's move be a false move? Or will they just follow through and finalize whatever it is that they are preparing for? You see, in between this range, ladies and gentlemen, we have the 50x traders and the 100x traders. That's the small money, all right? There seems to be a few guys trading in this range with high leverage and low capital, but it's down here in the range of 39k.
Could you say that again?
Be quiet, Alexa, man. The range between 39k, all right, in this zone right here, and then between 41 and 43. There is high liquidity of margined traders. So 25x traders have got liquidity stacked to the nines in this area. Okay? And this is what we're going to have. We're going to have people of the belief, yeah, Bitcoin's going to be going up, Bitcoin's going to be going down. It's trading sideways right now. You've got no information. Okay? The information that you can translate is pretty simple. All you need to do is wait for the move. Wait for the bold move to happen. Now, this is off the 1 hour time frame. If you're looking for a bigger move from Bitcoin, you're chilling because you need to wait until Bitcoin takes this zone right here before you understand its proof. And then when Bitcoin does take this range, depending on the speed of it, you're going to want to see if it comes back into the moving average and then continue down lower. Because a spike down lower could trigger a retrace back up to the upside and completely shake everyone out. And we've been witnessing this for quite some time. Look at what's going on here. Bitcoin trading in this zone right here. They spiked up, shook out all the retail traders who believed Bitcoin was going short, and then they came back down again. We need to be mindful. This could be the case if and only if this candle holds true. Because this is the start of something. How long it decides to respect the range is a different story. Ideally, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be trading from Tuesday morning. That's when you want to be trading. Tuesday morning, London open, because that's when the real move starts to happen. Yeah, you know what? Cool. Bitcoin could actually go lower. It could go high. And you'd be like, Tino, you said don't trade on until Tuesday. No, what I'm saying is you trade on Tuesday because you are improving the odds of a trade playing out in your favor, because Monday, by principle, is designed to just absorb all of the orders that have been placed over the weekend on various exchanges. People who haven't had access to trade, for example, 9 to 5 institutional traders that come to the hearts of the world in terms of finance. So guys in Canary and what have you, and anywhere else around the world in New York, they can really apply themselves on Tuesday. Monday is just preparing for the start of the week, whatever happens, okay? Monday's going to be the false move, or is it going to be the false move, which is what we're trying to establish. But Tuesday, you will know where you stand with Bitcoin, because by Thursday, they are going to do something else. They're either going to move aggressively from this range come Thursday and try and reverse back up again. And of course, a lot of people are talking about the idea that Bitcoin now is in a bearish market. Everything is dropping down lower. If we zoom out a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, we can understand. Let's go on some higher time frames right here. If I look on the 10-hour chart itself, you can see that, let's be honest, I mean, let's go on the daily. Is Bitcoin in a bearish market? It's kind of hard to say, really. I mean, if we actually just do something very simple, can we agree that Bitcoin is in a bearish market? No, we can't, because it's just trading upwards. Okay, it's at 40,000, but it's trading higher than whatever other levels it's been at before. Okay, when Bitcoin starts breaking out below the 32 and coming down into the 29, then we have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but right now it's only in the same spot that it was only a few months ago when everyone was at their most bullish. It's crazy, isn't it? It's exactly at the same spot that everyone else was at in July last year, and that is when everyone was mad bullish. So where are we, ladies and gentlemen? Are you going to base it off the idea that, yes, because it's corrected from the high at least 50%, we are now in a bearish market, or whatever it is people say? Quite frankly, we are exactly in the same places where we were in July last year, where people were bullish. Does that mean Bitcoin's going to bounce from here? Who knows? All we know is right now, Bitcoin is trading at 40,151, and it hasn't taken out any key notable areas just yet. The 50 EMA hasn't actually turned sharply to the downside, okay? We've got a lot of work to get through if we are going to see Bitcoin move down lower. Are you with me so far, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah? Are you with me so far? Correct. Crypto Magpie. Sentiment changes on a dime. If you can appreciate that, then you'll be accepting of the idea of uncertainty, because we don't know what's going to happen next. Because right now, guys, there could be a complete change in the way cryptocurrency operates. I'm not saying that it will, but that could be something that happens in the markets, and that could throw everyone off. In the next 20 minutes, there could be an article that is released talking about regulation in cryptocurrency that could be so detrimental for it. Bang! Bitcoin. See you later. I'll see you at 50 cents. You see what I'm saying? So every time you come to the chart, ladies and gentlemen, just appreciate that if you make a profitable trade, you make sure you take it, because anything can happen. It doesn't work like clockwork in the sense where no news can come out and affect crypto. Of course there is. Someone just needs to say one wrong thing, and that person can be in a certain position of power, and that could flip the whole thing. Welcome to uncertainty. That's what it is. Okay? Now, when you've got regulation in the stock market, well, you know what's happening in the stock market, ladies and gentlemen. That bad boy is regulated to the nines. No one can say anything about that. Unless there's a new find of oil, which is going to be beneficial for oil exploration companies, happy days. It's going to be common knowledge. But the companies themselves would be of that interest anyway. And we're probably going to understand that the bigger players in that company would have a stake in the actual oil company anyway. But that's another conversation for another day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Wonderful. Could be the war escalates it and goes to 5,000. Who knows? Sailor just said at Bitcoin 22 that Biden just gave crypto the green light. Cool. If Biden gave crypto the green light, okay, we would naturally want to see that be reflected in the chart, which will help us understand if they're building longs or building shorts. Okay. But listen, if Bitcoin is going to go higher or 100K, all right, let's get above 44,000 first. Yeah? Then we'll have a conversation about whether it can go any further than that. Till it gets above 44,000, we need to just be paying attention to these key zones in the chart, which currently reside at the 34K range and the 32,000 zone. Because if Bitcoin does break this range, ladies and gentlemen, it will be going into this little green vector candle that we haven't really been paying too much attention to, okay? 32,045 and 29,551 is where the magic will begin. Why? Because it's the last point where Bitcoin absolutely ripped it and made the all-time high, okay? People are saying that Bitcoin can't initiate an all-time high again. Well, Bitcoin couldn't get above 100. Bitcoin couldn't get above 1,000. Bitcoin couldn't. At the end of the day, if people invest in it, then naturally its value is going to increase. So ideally, it's all about adoption. We can't say it can't, okay? Because it will always end up being like so. Now listen, you've got to also be aware, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go into the altcoins in a minute. You've also got to be aware as well that Bitcoin could do this for the next few months. Okay? So be mindful of that. Because if they're going to truly accumulate so much of this coin and they anticipate it to go to 100K, it ain't going to happen in 5 minutes or ain't going to happen in one monthly candle, ladies and gentlemen, as much as we'd like it to. The more players that come into the game of crypto, the slower it moves, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the truth. because there'll be so many millions and millions of dollars and people's opinions being pushed into the chart, and Mr. Market Maker will have a field day. Remember, Mr. Market Maker makes his money on the bid and the ask, on the spread. So it doesn't matter whether it goes to 100K or not. He's making his money on the spread. Okay? Are we cool with that, ladies and gentlemen? Are we cool with that? All right, then. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Now, look, Ethereum is doing something pretty interesting on the daily time frame. Some of my stock traders or anyone that's actually got involved in the works of William J. O'Neill, my guy from Investors Business Daily, what a place. Ideally for stocks and shares, ladies and gentlemen. The infamous cup with handle on Ethereum, okay? Which we would understand to be potentially a W formation with the rise level 1 retrace, okay? We are now anticipating a retrace back up, okay, on Ethereum. That's what we're waiting for if Ethereum can hold. The same goes for Bitcoin, okay? But Bitcoin has come down a little bit deeper into the structure, which is a little bit of a concern for us, okay? But Ethereum seems to be trading pretty well in relation to this pattern. How long is it going to be before it actually does something about this pattern is a different story. Not seeing any vector candles appearing right here for Ethereum, although we do have the problem of this wick right here. Okay, remember guys, if you're trying to make sense of a direction on Bitcoin, ask yourself the question, where is price in relation to the moving averages? Okay, is it trading above the 50 EMA? You're only favoring longs. If it's trading below the 50 EMA, you're only favoring shorts. If it's trading at the 50 EMA, you don't do anything. You're waiting for direction. Yeah? Does that make sense? Right? Is the market maker not afraid of people leaving because it gets boring? Nah. Because people will be fearful and people will be greedy. That's it. They will never have the fear of people not coming to the charts, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth. Okay? They want people. Look, social media does a fantastic job of making sure that people get involved in trading. Yeah, just use $100 and we'll give you 125x leverage. We'll give you 100x leverage. Sign up to this and you'll get $5,000 free. Happy days, man. Why would you even not bother doing that? Because people that come to the game of trading don't have an understanding of trading for them to be bored of the actual movement of price. I'll admit it. When I first came into the game of cryptocurrency, I had one guy say to me, yo, Tino, can you give us your point of view on USDT? And I was like, yeah, man, let me have a look at it. And I was like, yeah, this coin doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Of course, it's a stable coin. I didn't know that at the time. I'll stand up and admit that. You know? I'm doing the good thing here. And I'm saying to myself, right, my guy wants me to look at USDT. Let me have a look at USDT. Like, let's just check it out. You know, what is USDT? Like, and I'm like, right, this coin, oh God, it's quite volatile. And, you know, it seems to just stay at $1. What's going on here? And I was like, are you pulling my leg, bro? But I didn't know. Do you see what I'm saying? So how's anyone going to make sense of if Bitcoin is moving up or down, or if it's stuck in a boring range, or if cryptocurrency gets boring? It will never be boring. You know? It will never be boring. Okay? So, this is Ethereum. Sorry, this was Bitcoin. This is Ethereum. We're going to dive into a little bit of Luna. So here's Luna. Now, look, man, this is what I like about Luna, all right? Given that there's been so much madness happening in cryptocurrency and Luna's been doing its own thing, all right, Luna's still got a good chance of holding above this 200 EMA. If it does break down lower, we can justify it because we've got vector candle ranges right here that we need to be mindful of. And given that Luna is so volatile, okay, it can probably come back down to this range and test these areas right here. This is going to be based on Bitcoin, okay? This is what it is, all right? So, looking at that, let's have a look at XRP. XRP, man, look how treacherous it is, man. It's up and down. It's up and down. It kills me, XRP. But when XRP moves, she moves nicely. Okay? Now we've got a big compression in the moving averages. So something's going to break on the daily, ladies and gentlemen. Something's going to break on the daily. If we go into the smaller time frames itself, we're going to understand that XRP, I mean, look at it, man. It's done a good job of holding above this zone, but we must be mindful. Monday might actually surprise us with a false move to the downside, and it may continue. Okay, because if they're spending too much time up here and they're not actively going anywhere, then there is a good chance it's going to come back down and break through this range, because they seem to be building certain positions in this area and not following through with it. The 800 EMA seems to be a resistance point until it's not, ladies and gentlemen. What is it that you look for? The rise, the retrace, the continuation to the upside. Okay, looking at gold for a split second, seems to be that when Bitcoin moves, when gold is moving up, okay, and Bitcoin is following it, all right, it's only on the basis that dollar yen stops its absolute mad move. And dollar yen looks like it's just going to keep on going, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a plethora of news announcements coming out. Okay, so the IMF's meeting tomorrow. We've got the housing market index. We have Bullard's speeches happening. Not really anything big. Okay, that's not really interesting. Other than the building permits, housing starts on the 19th of April. That's going to be coming in 2 days' time. And then, of course, we have the existing home sales. Yep. So it looks like it's not going to be that much of a great week. However, the Japanese yen is going to be declaring some interesting information as well, which could actually affect dollar as well. Listen, Bitcoin seems to move down when dollar moves up. All right. This is a bit of a problem right now, ladies and gentlemen. And it may be the case that as long as dollar is rising up, okay, then Bitcoin is going to have a problem moving higher. Okay. Now, what we would like to see is this. If Bitcoin can stay in this range and only come down ever so slightly whilst yen and dollar is moving up, then when things start to turn and then traders start taking their profits from this absolute nut job of a move to the upside, then we are likely to see dollar come down and Bitcoin follow its move back up again, and gold moving up into this previous zone right here. They are crawling slowly with gold to this upside. Okay, so just keep an eye out on gold. They are crawling slowly, and look at that clue right there. That vector candle has been completely recovered and then they've shifted away from it. So keep an eye out on the disparity between gold, Bitcoin, and dollar yen. Okay, cool. Is Jasmine going to reverse back up again? It's a good S-coin when the market dumps. Look, listen, when it comes to altcoins itself, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to understand, as it stands right now, it's all down to what Bitcoin does. Okay, that's what it's all down to. So let's look at Costello. Look at this. Costellatic. What is it? Why have I got it like this? What's going on? Ticker. That's what I want. Okay, so DAG. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. What is happening in there? I mean, that is beautiful. I'd love Bitcoin to do that. But look at this. Just look at this for a second. Okay? Whether it was news plays or not, this is what you're looking for. Look. This is what you're looking for in Bitcoin. This obviously moved higher. Psychological high. To the upside, to the downside. Trading up and down, up and down. They broke out of the range. They shook out all the retail traders and brought it straight back into the area and then shifted out. What is it that you wait for? You wait for the rise, the retrace. The retrace, it saves you so much money. Continuation to the upside. That's what you're looking for. Okay? Let's look at ARX. ARX has come up again. Where's it coming up from? Okay, look. See, this is what saves you. Price has broken above the psychological high. All right, but it's now come back into it. No trade. We're waiting for more information. All right. Comp. Trying to break above the psychological high. No trade. Because they went up, triggered the orders, came back down, filled them back up again, came back down again. Fine. No trade until they break, come back into it and trade away from it. LTX. Look at that. Nice spike up. Quite a choppy coin in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't want to get caught out in these movements right here. Although we do have this point up here in the chart that may be a point of interest, given that they're able to trigger retail interest at these particular points in the chart. Okay? Cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new, as always, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can catch up with us at the start of the trading week. In my eyes, is Tuesday. Okay, and if you haven't done so already, get in with the community of the Discord so you can reside with the pattern watchers right there. I want to thank you all for passing through on your Easter Sunday. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Mad love and respect. And I will catch up with you all tomorrow with a video regarding the holders. Have yourselves a great evening, guys. Take care of yourselves. Peace.